Hello, welcome to Nana's Journey. I'm Deanna, and today I'm going to start the Summer Moon block of the month. It's by Carrie Nelson, and one of the things she said about this quilt was I envisioned the blocks in multiple sizes with setting that wouldn't line up evenly and wouldn't have a lot of negative space. So you do each block 3 times. For instance, there's a small, a medium, and a large. And the small ones have frames, and the mediums and the larges also have frames in white, but they're different widths, so they set a little off center. She has got it divided into 10 months, but month 9 and 10 are the frames, and I am framing as I go, so it should only last 8 months. So on the 9th month, I will be finishing up the quilt and putting it all together. Also, I took the colors that she suggested. She is doing the Lollipop Garden by Lella Boutique, but remember this came out in 2019, so I grabbed some fabrics that are sort of in the same color. She also has this colorway that I'm not doing. So I took my fabrics and I numbered them. These are in the same order. So when I am ready to do my blocks, I know which fabrics to pull. And when doing this, I realized that all of month 1, all the blocks we do that month, and the frames for that block are all done in the same background. And each month will have a different background. But you can use the same background for the whole quilt if you'd like. Also, all the unfinished block sizes before adding the frames, the small are 5-inch, the medium are 6.5, and the large are 8. All blocks unfinished with the frames are 8 3/4. So the finished size will be 8 1/4. So it's a little odd. It's different from usual. She had all the corner triangles using the same fabrics, number 7 and 15. I might mix that up a little. All the half square fabrics were 4, 6, 7, 14, and 17. And then all the small, the patchwork frames used 3, and I swapped 9 for 8, 10, and 16 because she had too much green in there for me, so I added I think it was a yellow, 8, yeah, a yellow. So for month 1, for today, the frame will be the corner triangle frame, and the album block, which is on page 8, will use the background that I numbered 24. You can use whatever background you want. And then I used 2, 8, 10, 15, and 16. The Fool's Puzzle block on page 26 used fabrics 24, 16, 6, and 10. The Churn Dash block on page 20 used fabrics 24, 1, 11, and 16. So you can take a screenshot of this, and then you can take a screenshot of this, and that should get us through the quilt. So let me go over the fabrics. So my number 1, and this, I'm thinking of using this for the backing, but I have not decided yet. This is by Between the Pages. It's Ballerina. This is Love Blooms Blush by Lella Boutique from Moda. This is Dainty Meadows Sky Wild Boutique by My So Quilty Life by Moda. There's another Dainty Meadows Peachy Wild Boutique. I have a lot of Dainty Meadows in here. There's another Dainty Meadow Coral, I think that's a doodle. Yeah, Dainty Doodles. And this is Sky Picnic Petals by Dainty Meadows. Okay, so this one is Dainty Meadows Pear Tossed Petals. Dainty Meadows Buttercup Dainty Toss. Dainty Meadows Pear Meadow. This is Hometown by Lori Holt for Riley Blake. And this is Hometown Coral Bills. This is Dainty Meadows Peachy Wildflower. Yeah, Wildflowers. And Lovestruck Blush Old Fashioned Bloom. This is Lovestruck by Lella Boutique for Moda. Whoops. This is Dainty Meadows Sky Wildflowers. This is Between the Pages Ballerina Manuscript for Riley Blake. Dainty Meadows Bluebell Dainty Dot. Dainty Meadows Dainty Dot, Pear Dainty Dot, sorry. This is Flower Girl Buttermilk Blooms by Flower Girl by My So Quilty Life from Moda. And Dainty Meadow Blush Picnic Petals. Okay, so those are the colors that I'm using. Here's the background. Is Laguna Sunrise, Off-White, Harbor. This is by Sherry and Chelsea from Moda Fabrics from the Laguna Sunrise collection. This was in my scraps. All that the salvage said was it gave this number and Brother Sister Design Studios, so B82GTP43. So, Between the Pages White Manuscript. So Between the Pages by Fran Gullock for Riley Blake Designs. This is Guess How Much I Love You, White Dandelions by the collection Guess How Much I Love You by Anita Jerem for Clothwork Fabrics. This is another one that was in my scraps. It's been there for years. Keepsake Calico. It was designed for Joanne Fabrics. This is a new fabric that's just come out. Portofino Cloud Polka Dot Duo by Fig Tree for Moda. This is Three Sisters Favorites Vintage Linens Creamberry Toss Yardage for Moda. This is B Plaids Pebbles Crossroads by the B Plaids collection by Lori Holt for Riley Blake Designs. And for the moment, this is Dainty Meadows Bluebell Dainty Lace. I'm planning to use this for my binding, unless I choose this for the backing. Then I'll have to pick something else. But they had a blue for the binding, so I picked a blue. But that depends on what backing I choose. So there are my fabrics. So let me get the let me get the fabrics cut out for the album block on page 8. You want to cut out your large blocks first, then your mediums, then your smalls. So I will be back in a moment. Okay, and these are the fabrics I'm going to use for the album block: 24, 2, 8, 10, 15, and 16. Okay, I have all the pieces cut for the album block, and the numbers are for the frames. So let's get over to the sewing machine. Okay, I have the block all laid out. This is for the large, and then the pieces for the frames. There's the medium, and then the frames, and then the small, and then the frame. This is enough frame for all 3 blocks that we're doing today. I'm going to start with the small block, and I'll just put these rows together like this, and then I will connect the rows. When you press these, they will all be pressed to the background, and then when you put the rows together, they will all be pressed towards the outside. So this half will go this way and this half will go that way. Okay, I've trimmed this down into a 5-inch block. It's all pressed to the outside. So now we're going to make the frame. And we're going to take some of these. I've already marked the C for the background with the half square ruler. And I put the middle from point to point, and I drew a line on each side, or you can just draw a line from point to point and sew on each side. Okay, so let me get these cut and pressed open and trimmed. and then we can start putting the units together. Okay, now that we've got these pieces ready to go, we're going to put on background B. And does it matter what? I don't think it matters what direction your block goes, since it's kind of a scrappy quilt. Okay, now we still need to put frame around this block. And what I wish I had done, these last 4 pieces just a tiny bit wider, so that then I can trim it down, you know, in case something's wrong. Okay, there is our album block. This is the small one. It gets the decorative frame. And so now I just need to do the medium and the large blocks, and then I will come back when it's ready to frame them. And they will just be getting like strips like this. And then we can move on to our next block. Okay, I have the medium one trimmed to 6.5, and if you give yourself 3/8 of an inch from the points, then it should come out good. So we're going to take these 2 shorter sides, put one on each side. Okay, there is our medium block. these two are shorter than these two, so we do these first. Okay, and there is our large block. So now we can get started on the Churn Dash block. Okay, for the Churn Dash block on page 20, I've still got background 24. I'm going to use 1, 16, and I had planned on using 11, but I've decided I am going to use number 12 instead. So I will get that cut up and we'll be back. Okay, this is the medium-sized block, and then the frames that go with it. This is the Churn Dash, and I will put this together, and then we will do the Fool's Puzzle. I've already showed you how to do the frames. I'm not going to bore you by doing that again. But we're going to start by putting these right sides together. And I took my 1/2-inch ruler, went from corner to corner, and I drew my lines on each side of the ruler. You can also draw a line from corner to corner and sew a 1/4 inch on each side. So we're going to make some half square triangles. Okay, I will cut these in half, press them open, trim them, and then I will be back. Okay, those are trimmed and pressed, and I just need to sew these right sides together, and then we can start putting the block together. Okay, the points go in on the corners, and we will just put our rows together. Okay, there is our Churn Dash block. Now I just have to frame it, and now we can get to the Fool's Puzzle. Okay, for the Fool's Puzzle block on page 26, I'm going to be using the same background, number 24, and I'm going to be using 6, 10, and 16. So let me get those cut out, and I'll be back. Okay, for the Fool's Puzzle, we're going to make a 1/4 square triangle and some flying geese. And the pattern book has you cut these in a triangle and then sew them together. But I'm going to do the traditional two half square triangles at a time, just like we've done before. So I will start that. Okay, I'm going to cut and get this pressed. Okay, I cut these apart, I pressed them open. You don't want to do any trimming yet. And then you want to put the colors opposite side so that the nests seam pressed towards the pink. And then you do the same thing again. You mark it for your half square triangle. Now we're going to cut, press it open, and we will have 2 quarter square triangles. One you can keep for scrap. If you have an orphan block box, you can put it there. And then once we get this pressed, we'll trim it. Okay, now we're going to make some flying geese using the folded corner method. We're just going to put our corner here. And so we're going to put the needle on this corner, and we're going to use this sew line tape. We're going to put this corner on the red line and just sew down. Okay, now we're going to press these open, trim this off, leaving a 1/4 inch seam, and then we will repeat that process to the other side. Okay, now it's time to put it together. We're going to sew these 2 together, and we'll sew these to here. Then we will put the rows together. I like to move one of these seams the opposite direction so that they nest. Okay, and if it's going the opposite, if it wants to twist, I just give it a little clip. Don't clip past the seam. And now I'm going to press these ones open. These will get pressed to the blue. Okay, let me get this framed and I'll be right back. Okay, there we have it. We have the small, the medium, and the large of all 3 blocks. They're all framed, ready to go. And it was kind of fun. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next month. I will try to do these on the first Monday of each month. And I hope to see you next time on Nana's Journey.